Hey buddy, so if I ask you, are you a dry coder or a wet coder? Well, if I talk about myself, I am both. Depends on the situation. When I'm writing code, I need to give a deep thought process. That even the single line that I'm writing, even the method name or the variable name, properties name, everything needs to be given a deep thought process before writing a single line. So, same here. If you have to write a dry principle or a wet principle, you have to give a deep thought process, right? So dry means, I think you already use that. Every one of us follows the dry principle, and some of us also follow the wet, right? But they know cleverly where to fit that wet and where to not fit the wet. Normally, you know, wet is considered a bad practice. Why? So try means don't repeat yourself. That means you're not going to write same code every time. Don't repeat yourself. If you have written something once, don't repeat it. That is what dry principle says. Now, what is wet? W-E-T. What is wet? So wet is exactly the opposite of dry. Write everything twice. So you are free, my friend. Write everything twice, and no one is going to review your code. And after years, someone will come to your project and they will throw that code into a dustbin if you're going to overuse the wet principle. So normally, wet principle is considered a bad practice, right? Because it introduces lot of extra effort to fix the bug, fix same bug at many times, right? So let's talk about advantage of dry principle and where actually you can fit the wet principle as well. Okay, just look at this example in my Visual Studio. This is one of the example that I have prepared to demonstrate this concept. Okay, so now what we are saying here, it will check if the user is admin or not, right? What I'm saying, I will accept a username, right? And I will check a condition here, and I will check if username is admin, print admin user, else print invalid user, right? Then now let's say there is other requirement that says check if user is a regular user or not. What I have done here as a bad practice, again I'm following bad practice, right? What I have done, I have created other method. Now I'm saying, hey, check is user regular, different method, accept same input parameters. So username, check here, right? If user is admin or not. I'm saying if user is not admin, that means it's a normal user. Otherwise, consider it as an invalid user. Now, this is one of the bad example, you know, uh, that I'm using here. So this is a duplicate code that I'm writing, right? Duplicate logic that I'm writing. Now let's say, there is a one logic that I need to introduce between when the username is correct over here, I have to write same logic here as well in the second method, right? What if I write that code here, but I forgot to write code here in the other method, that will introduce a bug, right? So that means it is going to take extra time to write the same logic in duplicate methods because I have written duplicate codes, right? So what you can do, instead of this principle, instead of writing duplicate code, you can create a optimization, right? You can follow the drive principle. What we have done here, we have created just one method, check user, accept the username. It already has list of all users, admin, normal, and tomorrow you can add as many as per the requirement. And check here, if user any of this username that is accepting, right? In this user, whatever the username is coming, if that list has that user, treat it as a that username, right? Print the username and then user, otherwise invalid user. Now if tomorrow there is some business logic, once the user is satisfied, I have to write at only one place. That means the testing efforts is decreased, right? I don't need to test every place, right? So that saves a lot of time, lot of customer money. So this is one of the example. Sometime you create a one method, let's say email check, email is valid or not. You create that method in one class, and if the same logic needed in other class, you go and write there as well. Don't do that. Follow try principle. place it somewhere in the helper extension methods, right? And reuse that logic. So that will save your lot of time, lot of clients' money, and less bugs and easy to fix bug, right? Okay, now we have seen this code. Now, what are the advantage of try principle? So the advantage are many: maintainability, readability, reuse, cost, testing, right? All these are the advantage. There are many benefits. There are more benefits, right? But these are the key benefits that I'm going to talk today. So let's talk about the maintainability first. The biggest benefit of using dry is maintainability. Just example that we have seen, right? If the logic of checking permission was repeated all over the code, right, it becomes difficult to fix issues. By having non-repeated code, you only have to maintain the code in a single place. New logic and bug fixes can be made in one place instead of many, right? And that way you are creating a software which is easy to maintain, right? So second, readability. Obviously, less number of code is always more readable. No further argument, right? So less number of code, you can easily go and read. You would love to understand that code, but if there are thousands of lines in your file, you would just try to escape from there, right? So it increases the readability. Now reuse. Hmm. So for sure, since you are going to follow the dry principle, you are going to place that code at somewhere common place. It could be extension folder, it could be helper folder, it could be common folder, shared library, anywhere. And you create a single method and call it anywhere, wherever you require it, right? So the next is cost. Now you must be thinking, why cost? If you follow the dry principle, how it affect the cost. So let's say there is a bug. There were lot of duplicate code, right? Now it was thousands line, right? To read the code, more time you need to improve to fix that code, right? And also you need time to improve the code quality. So more time, more cost, unhappy customer, right? Customer will come back with a lot of bug, and when you fix one use case, you will forget to fix different use case or different place, right? Now our testing. So here I'm not talking about the testing that QA people do, the tester do. We are talking about unit and integration code writing. So uh, if code is not repeated, that means you have created one method only, and the unit test or integration test that you need to write only for one method, not the 10 methods, right? At 10 different places. So now, since there are so many advantages of dry principle, shall we start using dry principle blindly? Well, following dry is always good. But sometimes there's a situation when you write your program, you end up with a situation that 10 lines of codes are similar, but one line of code is different. Now both the method looks similar, but that one line cause you to write duplicate code to write a separate method. So if there is a situation like that, you can still write that code, but make sure you don't forget to add a comment there why you have written that code, or find a way that those two methods can be merged, but that one condition that is specifically needed, that could also be conditional, right? Just put some boolean field, a flag. If this is a flag, only implement this logic. So you have to give a deep thought process when to merge two codes or when to keep them separate. Okay, so that's all for today video. I will see you in the next video.